All right, I think we're going to call this lesson the perfect fifth and look at the cycle of dominance. So there's a ton to unpack here, and we'll probably do it in more than one session. But this is going to give us a really good start. So the first diagram I've got here is from an A to an E, right? A B C D E, 1 2 3 4 5. If I play both of those notes together, the 1 and the 5, I have a perfect fifth, a harmonic perfect fifth, meaning I'm hearing both of those notes at the same time. So we have 1 2 3 4 5. Very powerful, cohesive, harmonically cohesive sound, right? If I do the same thing, let's say from a C note in this position, C D E F G. There we have a perfect fifth, and these fifths are, guitaristically speaking, are often played in parallel, right? Otherwise known as power chords, from a vernacular perspective. Okay. So that's a perfect fifth. It's called a perfect fifth because of its very strong relationship to the tonic, or its fundamental. Again, I'm referring to the harmonic overtone series, which we'll look at in greater depth as we go on. Suffice to say, the perfect fifth is probably the strongest interval of all intervals. If we take a look at a C chord, for instance, a C chord has a perfect fifth in it, right? And so it has a perfect fifth with an E in the middle. If I take a look at an A minor chord, it has a perfect fifth, right, with a C in the middle of those two notes. So the perfect fifth in two different places, that's C. So what I'm getting at there is that every major chord, every triadic major chord, and every triadic minor chord has a perfect fifth in it. And it only takes the movement of one note to make that major chord or that minor chord, make it a major chord or a minor chord. It's the third that moves, which we're going to look at later on. But just that's just to reiterate how important and essential the perfect fifth is in terms of our music and what we're used to listening to. Okay, so now let's take a look at the cycle of dominance. Here we go. I think the reason we've been given 5 fingers is so we can count out perfect fifths, right? Perfect hand, perfect fifths, and we can start with our thumb, which is going to be our tonic. And you learn to count like this: C, D, E, F, G. There's my perfect fifth. Bam. If we move through the cycle of fifths, as you can see, the next one in the cycle, right? We start with C, C, D, E, F, G, 1 2 3 4 5 on your fingers. Then we have G, G, A, B, C, D, 1 2 3 4 5 on your fingers, right? Easy. And from D to A, D, E, F, G, A, 1 2 3 4 5 on your fingers, and so on. And I've got all of the counts marked up here, right? So you just have to get into the habit of being able. It's totally cool to count on your fingers until you feel comfortable with not doing that, right? So C to G is a perfect fifth, G to D is a perfect fifth, D to A is a perfect fifth, A to E is a perfect fifth, E to B is a perfect fifth, and so on, right? Now, in this direction, clockwise, we're going to get perfect fifths. 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. If we go the other way, we're going to have a perfect fourths, because a inversion of a perfect fifth is a perfect fourth, and vice versa. C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, 4. F, G, A, B flat, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all the same distances. B flat and C, D, E flat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect fourth. So this way, if we go counterclockwise, they're all going to be perfect fourths. If we go clockwise, they're all going to be perfect fifths. Now, let's just take a little bit of a look at how practical the cycle of fifths is, and I'm just going to use one little chunk, right? You've probably all heard of a 1 chord, a 4 chord, and a 5 chord. In other words, a chord that's built on the first degree of, let's use a C major scale. A chord that's built on the first degree of the scale is called a C major, and we call that the 1 chord. A chord that's built on the 4th degree of the scale is called the 4 chord, and FAC, so that's 4 chord. And then from the 5th degree, it's G chord, GBD, 1, 1, 3, 5, the spelling of the chord GBD. And so if we look at that in relationship to the cycle of fifths, as you can see, we have the 1 chord here is the C. Going back a perfect fourth, we have the 4 chord, and going up perfect fifth, we have the 5 chord. There's the 1, 4, and 5 chords in the key of C. If I do a move up to the key of G, we as the tonal center, we have the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. If I move up to the key of D, we have the 1, the 4, the 5, and so on, right? It's always exactly the same thing. Now, these small numbers here, these small letters here with the dash means minor. And here you have the relative minor to the major chord. So here we have the C major and the relative minor. Here we have the G major and its relative E minor. And here we have the F major chord and its relative D minor, and so on. So if you can start also just digging in with for instance, something as simple as just taking the C and playing C to an A minor. You can hear how many thousands of tunes there were in the same thing with G to E. The same thing applies, and so there's so much information here in this cycle of fifths. So just very briefly recapping, count fifths on your fingers. Fifths sound like this, like power chords, right? And really brilliant chunky sound. And also a fifth is in every major chord and in every minor chord as well. Triads, simple chords. Speaking about simple chords, and fifths also tell us what the cycle of fifths will tell us the most important chords on the key. And if you can memorize this cycle of dominance, believe me, you'll be happy you did. You're going to be the hit of the party. So just work your way through this. Try to be aware of the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. Super important. And all you have to do is just pick one tonal center, like I did with C, and go to the left for the 4 chord and go to the right for the 5 chord, right? And if you want to be able to count through perfect fifths, you just use your hand, C, D, E, F, G, right? There's a perfect fifth right there. And these methods will get quicker and quicker for you until you can start to spell on the fretboard and you can understand where everything is. And that's that's fun, and that's a fun way to start making music and building a really strong foundation. So the perfect fifth and the cycle of dominance, we're going to be revisiting this a lot. And again, I just wanted to point out that the big letters are the major chords and the small letters are their relative minors.